Chapter 11. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Luodu, Zhenbei Palace. Wang Xuan has returned to his room. Before the lottery, he used to wash his hands with grapefruit leaves. Wuji. Draw the lottery for me. A virtual disc appeared in front of Wang Xuan, and the pointer on it kept turning. Stop. The pointer slowly stopped. Before Wang Xuan could see clearly, a mechanical voice sounded in his mind. Consume the intermediate lottery once. Congratulations to the host for winning the Yangshan pill *1. It's actually a nourishing spirit pill. This is the magic pill that many innate strong men dream of. The innate realm is different from the acquired realm. What is cultivated is the three flowers of essence, energy and spirit, in order to gather the three flowers at the top to break through the master. Therefore, the innate realm is divided into 1 flower, 2 flowers and 3 flowers. The difficulty is also different. Most people can cultivate their true qi to the great success of condensing the flower of qi through cultivation. The flower of essence requires a little physical talent, and the older they are, the greater the loss of qi and blood, and the more difficult it is to condense the flower of essence, and the last flower of the god is 1 in 10,000. The high spiritual requirements are enough to screen out most warriors. From ancient times to the present, there are historical records that there are very few people who can condense the flower of the god. This nourishing spirit pill, as the name suggests, is a legendary pill that fundamentally enhances the spiritual qualifications of warriors. The source has been it cannot be checked, but it can greatly increase the probability of a warrior condensing the flower of God. Wang Xuan did not expect that this intermediate lottery would be so powerful that he could actually draw the nourishing spirit pill. Wang Xuan could not wait to eat the nourishing spirit pill. The pill turned into a warm current and entered the body. After a while, a coolness flowed through his brain. The spirit was like a stream at first, and it suddenly widened like a river, rushing straight to Wang Xuan's head. Then this spiritual river began to converge towards the center of the eyebrows, and finally slowly condensed into a blue transparent flower. Instant. Wang Xuan felt his body begin to become light. His soul flew out of his body, slowly passed through the roof, and rose into the sky. Most of the world in his eyes turned black and white, with only a few places emitting light. The palace was emitting a faint golden light. The one emitting white light should be the academy, and the black and red lights should be the prison. The biggest golden light should be the palace. Compared with the palace, the golden light of the palace is like a firefly competing with the bright moon. There is no comparison at all. I hope your majesty will think carefully. Otherwise, even if heaven is in power, I will bring you down. Wang Xuan took a deep look at the palace. His soul turned around and returned to his body. What I just saw should be the energy of this world. Generally speaking, this ability is only possessed by the Qigong masters of the Imperial Observatory. I didn't expect that after condensing the flower of God, it would have such a function. However, before refining the primordial spirit and raising the spirit fetus, it is better not to do such soul-out-of-body things. But in general, he gained a lot this time. At first, he thought he would condense the flower of Qi first, but it is hard to tell the opportunities in life. After a while, he condensed the most difficult flower of God first. Wang Xuan took out the secret book he got from Lin An. There were 4 big words on it: Blue Lotus Sword Song. That's right, this is the sword secret book of the former sword immortal Li Tai. There is a poem that says, if Li Tai is not born, the sword path will be like a long night forever. Li Tai's sword path can be said to be the best in the world from ancient times to the present. But even such a brilliant person did not enter the realm of heaven and man before his death. It can be seen how rare the realm of heaven and man is. Wang Xuan took away this secret book, which seemed harmless. After all, Lin An must have remembered the sword method. Even if the secret book was taken away, Lin An could still practice the Green Lotus Sword Song. But in fact, Wang Xuan's real intention was not to drink. He actually wanted the secret book itself. That's right, this should be it. Wang Xuan found a map in the last layer of the secret book. This should be the location of Li Bai's tomb. In the previous life, when the plot of Jianghu developed later, Lin An's swordsmanship improved by leaps and bounds, and holding the magic sword, he could kill the top masters. Later, from the dialogue of the plot, it was learned that Lin An had obtained the Blue Lotus Sword Song. In his early years, from which he learned the location of the Sword Immortal's tomb. Not only did he get the swordsmanship insights left by Li Bai, but he also got Li Bai's magic sword Long Quan. This is one of the most important opportunities for Lin An, the protagonist, so when Wang Xuan saw Lin An jump out, he took this opportunity to take the secret book away. I didn't expect that the Sword Immortal's tomb was actually outside the Great Wall. No wonder no one in Dakian could find it for so many years. So later in the story, Lin An kept proposing to go to war with Rongdi in the court, and even went deep behind enemy lines, probably for the Sword Immortal tomb. Wang Xuan suddenly realized. However, this Sword Immortal tomb is not in Dakian, which is still quite troublesome. I will talk about it later when I lead the army to attack Rongdi. Although I can't go to the Sword Immortal's tomb, I can learn the Sword Immortal's methods first. Wang Xuan opened the Blue Lotus Sword Song, and started to study. After reading the last page, his eyes lit up and he couldn't help but exclaimed. You are worthy of being called a Sword Immortal. This sword attack technique is the best in the world. Swordsmanship is good, but it also means that it is extremely difficult to practice. Fortunately, when he suppressed Lin An, he also gained a sense of the Green Lotus Sword. Wang Xuan used it without hesitation. The memories of swordsmanship practice poured into his mind, making Wang Xuan feel a little swollen. After a while, Wang Xuan opened his eyes, pointed two fingers outward, and a green energy shot out, directly smashing the rockery. In the courtyard, Wang Xuan was very satisfied. I have already mastered the sword skills, and I just need to hone them slowly. His mind moved, and a transparent panel appeared in front of him. Name, Wang Xuan. Realm, innate flower. Luck value, 13500. Plunder progress, Lin An, 5% Chu Siyan, 10%. Mall, click to open. This shows his various data, as well as the progress of plundering the Son of Luck, etc. Wang Xuan was attracted by the last mall. This is the legendary system mall. That he opened the mall with a thought. In an instant, a dazzling array of items filled Wang Xuan's vision. Just a glance, Wang Xuan's eyes were already wide open. If these things were released, I'm afraid Dakian would be destroyed. Heaven Realm Enlightenment, 2 million luck value /second. Ultimate Puppet, 3 million luck points. 10000 Great Snow Dragon Riders, 15 million luck points. Wang Xuan was drooling as he looked at the rows of goods. There were even insights from the Heavenly Man realm. What the hell was a puppet from the Ultimate Realm? And an army? The Great Snow Dragon Riders. Isn't this the army made up entirely of innate warriors in the legend of the previous dynasty? I heard that they have a combined attack formation, where 1,000 people are like one. An ordinary Grandmaster Realm General can exert the strength of the Ultimate Realm. There are actually 10,000 people here. Even if they are not as powerful as the Heavenly Man realm, they are not far behind. Although Wang Xuan was envious, he could only be envious. His luck value now is less than 1,000th of these items. Now I miss Lin An and Chu Siyan a little bit. After all, these two people are his pure cash machines. If they are suppressed a little, the luck value plundered will be very much. It doesn't matter, there will always be luck points. I will get these things sooner or later. Wang Xuan suppressed the commotion in his heart. He looked at other mall items again. He could find cheap ones directly in the palace treasury, or buy them with money. He didn't have enough luck points for expensive ones. In the end, he could only log off with nothing. Just when he was regretting, a voice sounded. Young master. Wang Xuan saw who was coming and stood up in surprise. Uncle Fu, you're back. The man who came was Wang Xuan's housekeeper, Uncle Fu. He was also from his mother's side and had watched him grow up. He had always called him young master since he was a child, so he forgot to change his name when he grew up. Uncle Fu, why did you come back so soon? Didn't you say you would be back in a few days? If I don't come back, you will be bullied to death. Uncle Fu looked helpless, but his eyes were full of pampering. Wang Xuan knew what Uncle Fu was talking about, and he shook his head and said. Don't worry, Uncle Fu. I have repented and will not be deceived by that woman again. Really? Uncle Fu was a little unconvinced. Of course, if you don't believe me, ask Wang Si. Wang Si was the leader of the Xianlong Guard who went to the Chu family with Wang Xuan that day. Young master can think it through. it is also the blessing of the young lady. Uncle Fu's eyes were filled with tears. He took out a letter and handed it to Wang Xuan. This time I came back so early, not only because I was worried about you, but also because the prince asked me to give you a letter. A letter from home? Wang Xuan was surprised. When will my father write a letter? Chapter 12. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Everyone in Daqian knew that if they wanted to get King Wang Xuan of Zhenbei to write, it would be better to let him rush into the base camp of Rongdi alone. Wang Xuan opened the letter with doubt. My son, Wang Xuan, I am writing to you, that I haven't seen you for many years, and I miss you very much. I heard that it snowed in Luodu recently, so you need to wear more clothes to avoid catching a cold. I am doing well in Liangzhou, so please don't worry about me. I heard that in half a year, it will be my son's coming of age, and I am afraid it will be difficult for me to return to Luodu to celebrate for him. But I have prepared gifts in advance, and I hope you will be happy. I will send Brother Pingrong back to Luodu to celebrate for him and arrange his marriage with the little girl of the Chu family. The whole letter is only a few hundred words, and each word is powerful and majestic. Wang Xuan felt warm in his heart and smiled. This letter was written by Uncle Mingshan, right? That the Uncle Mingshan he mentioned is the staff of the Zhenbei Palace, Li Mingshan, whose courtesy name is Pingrong, that is, the brother Pingrong mentioned in the letter who will come back in half a year. He is not only a staff, but also the first think tank of the Zhenbei Palace. He is also a good brother of Zhenbei Wang Xiang. Before Wang Xuan was 12 years old, he studied under him. To him, Li Mingshan is half a father. It is reasonable for him to hold the coming-of-age ceremony for Wang Xuan on behalf of Wang Xiang. Uncle Fu also smiled and narrowed his eyes. Master, you also know that the prince is a person who would rather kill him than let him write. That Wang Xuan smiled and nodded. And looking at this literary statement, it must have been polished by Uncle Mingshan. Wang Xiang, a rough man, certainly could not say such words. But the love expressed in it is true. Wang Xian's mother died early, and he was sent to Luodu when he was 3 or 4 years old. In name, he was guarding the palace in Luodu, but in fact he was a hostage. His 5 elder brothers also died in battle. Wang Xiang naturally felt indebted to his only son, but also loved him. Uncle Fu clapped his hands and shouted, "Move everything in," that the servants immediately brought in 2 boxes. Here are the gifts that the prince has chosen for you. He asked you to choose one. Oh. Wang Xuan was a little curious. The first box was opened, and it was filled with various precious study treasures, as well as various books and famous paintings. The second box only had one thing, a knife, a black as ink knife, with the words Dragon Bird inscribed on the blade. The 8th on the divine weapon list, Dashya Dragon Bird. Wang Xuan asked in surprise. Uncle Fu nodded. That's right, the prince sent people to search the entire northwest desert for this sword, and it took him 3 years to find it. The prince said that only this knife was worthy of his son, that it is said that the great Xia dragon bird was made by Emperor Ji of the Xia dynasty 1,000 years ago. There is an ancient snake on the blade, which symbolizes the legendary Emperor Fuxi, who had a human head and a snake body. Dragons dance in the sky, bronze sparrows shoot arrows and pierce the flames is referring to this sword. Wang Xuan was overjoyed. This is a sharp weapon on the divine weapon list, that there are a total of 108 weapons on the divine weapon list, which can cause bloodshed in the martial arts world. The owners of the top 30 are basically masters, and the top 10 weapons, except for the great Xia dragon sparrow in Wang Xuan's hand, are all masters of the top level. Wang Xuan picked up the great Xia dragon sparrow and liked it more and more. I chose this knife. Confirmed? Confirmed. Wang Xuan nodded. Wang Xuan understood that his father wanted him to choose one of the two. Choosing the 4 treasures of the study means to follow the literary style and be a happy prince. Choosing the great Xia dragon bird means to choose the martial arts and take on the responsibility of guarding the northern border from now on. Uncle Fu sighed. I hope the young master doesn't choose that knife. It would be so much better to marry the girl from the Chu family and live a peaceful life like before. Wang Xuan knew what Uncle Fu was worried about. His 5 brothers had died for the country, and Uncle Fu was afraid that he would follow in their footsteps. Wang Xuan shook his head. According to the plot, he would indeed marry Chu Siyan, but in the end his family would be destroyed. Forget about Chu Siyan, but after so many years of being so cold and indifferent, where is the face of my Zhenbei Palace? But even if I am willing to be a Prince Pinyin, some people don't want to, that the tree wants to be quiet but the wind does not stop. Uncle Fu heard the subtext and his eyes fixed. Someone wants to deal with our Zhenbei Palace. Who? Wang Xuan pointed to the sky. Uncle Fu's face changed slightly, and finally became gloomy. Where did you hear this, young master? That person was supported by the prince to the position, so it can be said that they all prosper together and suffer together. Wang Xuan put the great Xia dragon bird into the scabbard. Chu family, Chu Yuan Zhan. Reducing the power of the feudal lords. Upon hearing these two words, Fu Bo's body was shaken. If we were to reduce the power of the feudal lords, wouldn't that shake the foundation of the country? How could that person do such a foolish thing? Moreover, the court officials would not sit idly by and watch that person do something stupid. Although Daqian had been peaceful for a long time, it was all due to the fights of the surrounding vassal kings. In Wang Xuan's memory, the previous emperor also had the idea of reducing the power of the vassal kings, but he was persuaded back by the court officials as soon as he said it. There was no other reason. If the vassal kings' armies on the border of Daqian were really reduced, they would definitely be in chaos. So the one who wants to shock the princes with thunder. The only way is to kill the chicken to scare the monkey. My Zhenbei Palace is that chicken. As the leader of all the princes, the Zhenbei prince not only has a close relationship with the Empress, but is also a prince of a different surname. First, it can be used to show the Empress's equal treatment, and second, people will not accuse him of killing all the royal princes. Uncle Fu looked solemn and bowed, saying, I will tell the prince about this. Wang Xuan nodded. This was the purpose of him telling this matter. Letting Uncle Fu convey this matter would be much more credible than himself, who has always been careless. However, with his father's temper, he may not believe it, so he has to rely on himself. Thinking of the Zhenbei prince, the tall and majestic image appeared in Wang Xuan's mind. In the game plot, Lin An used Wang Xuan to frame the Zhenbei prince for treason, and Wang Xiang went to Beijing alone to prove his innocence. The Empress naturally did not dare to do anything to Wang Xiang, otherwise the 400,000 troops in the northern border would surely rebel. However, Lin An came up with a poisonous plan, using Wang Xian's love for Chu Siyan to poison Wang Xiang to death. This became the Zhenbei Palace's own. It was not because the Empress was immoral. After Wang Xuan inherited the throne, the morale of the Zhenbei army was low and it existed in name only. It was directly incorporated and controlled by the people sent by the court. Wang Xuan thought he could be a rich prince, but in the end he was also executed by the Empress in the name of patricide to appease the people of the Zhenbei army. The Zhenbei Palace was directly confiscated. Thinking of this, Wang Xuan couldn't help but complain about the screenwriter. The original plot was too stupid. He actually let him do it to his father who loved him so much. Just for a brain-dead heroine. In the end, he was sold out. Which brain-dead person wrote this plot? There is no need to force the protagonist to be stupid. But Wang Xuan traveled through time, so it is impossible for such a thing to happen. After giving the gift, Uncle Fu took his leave. Wang Xuan got up and prepared to practice. He came to the treasure house of the palace. Every item in it would cause countless people to fight for it if it was placed outside, but Wang Xuan can enjoy it at will. Before crossing, his mind was always on Chu Siyan, so he abandoned his practice. Among his peers in Luodu, his cultivation ranked among the bottom few, so now he has to practice quickly, because the imperial examination will be held in a month. In the original plot, Lin An won the imperial examination in one fell swoop, and was the first in both civil and military examinations. He was directly appreciated by that person, and then he rose to prominence and had a series of subsequent events, so Wang Xuan couldn't let Lin An get the appreciation of that person. He wanted to destroy Lin An's opportunity, so that he would definitely gain a lot of luck points. How could such an opportunity be missed? After Wang Xuan took the cultivation resources, he went back and started to practice. He practiced until noon the next day. It's great to use luck to speed up your practice. Plus the original body's talent is already very good. This +1 is greater than 2, isn't it going to take off? Wang Xuan sighed, it's just that the luck value is consumed a little too fast. At this time, Uncle Fu walked in. Master, did you borrow money from a bank outside? Chapter 13. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Borrow money? Wang Xuan looked puzzled. In his memory, the palace had never been short of money. It was only when others gave them money, so how could they borrow money? It's the account of Baolong Bank. I looked at it and it seems that the Chu family borrowed it and used your name as collateral. Wang Xuan remembered that it was true, but that was all when he was a bootlicker. The Chu family wants to borrow money again today. But I have already borrowed a sum before. If I want to borrow again now, I need to pay back the previous sum. Wang Xuan sneered, it seems that the Chu family is not honest, and they are doing some small tricks behind the scenes. It seemed that there was a big commotion yesterday, but because it was in the Chu family mansion, it has not spread yet, and some cooperating banks don't know about it. Wang Xuan sneered, Chu Yuanzhan still thinks I am the same person as before. How dare you do such a little trick? The Chu family doesn't want to be respectable, so I will help them be respectable. Wang Xuan immediately said to Uncle Fu, Uncle Fu, please check whether the Chu family has borrowed money from other banks. And make it clear to our partners that our Zhenbei Palace will completely cut off ties with the Chu family. All the transactions and loans under the name of his Chu family will no longer be guaranteed by my Zhenbei Palace. Uncle Fu nodded, okay, master. Then he turned around to do things. After Uncle Fu left, Wang Xuan continued to practice. The next day, a piece of news spread throughout Luodu in an instant. It made the originally peaceful life noisy. At this time, in various wine shops and markets, everyone was talking about. Have you heard? The Prince of Zhenbei is going to break off the engagement with Miss Chu. I've heard about it a long time ago. The latest news is that not only has the engagement been cancelled, but even the Zhenbei Palace and the Chu family have severed ties. Is it so cruel? Is His Royal Highness going too far? Is this too much? Think about it, a woman has been chasing after him for 10 years, even if her heart is cold, she should be warmed up, right? But this Miss Chu is really amazing, His Royal Highness can't warm her up. It is rare that His Royal Highness is such a passionate person, he has waited for 10 years. If I were the Prince of Zhenbei, I would have kicked this old woman out and found someone else. Now the prince has also had an epiphany. It seems that he is going to be a hidden dragon in the abyss. After the news spread, many merchants, banks, and noble families who had cooperated with the Chu family came one after another. In front of the Chu family mansion, a dense crowd was locked outside the gate, and people kept squeezing in. Is Lord Chu here? It was the guarantee of the King of Zhenbei that made my lease company willing to let your Chu family pay for the goods on credit. Now, please settle my payment. Mr. Chu, my Hongyuan Bank loaned you 100,000 taels of silver yesterday. Please pay it back. Lord Chu, I am a small business owner at Jinyatang. Your wife owed me a total of 5,000 taels of jewelry on credit last month. Could you please pay it off for me first? Monks, we are the Zhenwei caravan. The shouts outside the door were endless. The servants of the Chu family held the door tightly, their faces showing fear. At this time, in the back hall of the Chu family, Chu Yuanzhan paced back and forth with his hands behind his back. Chu Fengshi sat on a chair and cried. Chu Siyan stood beside Chu Fengshi, constantly comforting her. As for Lin An. After yesterday, Lin An left after waking up, saying that he was going out to practice, and he must wash away the shame when he comes back. Cry, cry, cry. You just know how to cry. Can't you just stop for a while now? Chu Yuanzhan yelled angrily. I am so anxious now. So many people are blocking our Chu family's door. If the news gets out, how can I hold my head up high? That the wives of officials in Luodu often get together. Once this matter comes out, Chu Fengshi can't go anymore. Are you still worried about your face now? Have you ever thought about me? Chu Yuanzhan was angry. This woman was short-sighted and couldn't tell the difference between the important and the unimportant at this time. Your face is your face, but mine is not, right? Chu Feng said, straightening her neck. Okay, okay. I won't argue with you. If you want to blame someone, blame the good daughter you taught. Chu Siyan was unconvinced. Dad, how can you blame your daughter? It was that damn prince who wanted to cancel the engagement. Chu Yuanzhan accused. If it wasn't you who proposed it, why would he cancel the engagement? If you don't cancel the engagement, the betrothal gifts don't need to be returned. Now all this will not happen. Chu Siyan straightened her neck. My daughter didn't like that fool prince in the first place. If you hadn't insisted on marrying my daughter to him, how could this have happened today? Chu Yuanzhan was furious. How dare you? How can you talk to me like that? Parents' orders and matchmakers' words. I will let you marry whoever I want you to marry. How can you decide? Chu Siyan pursed her lips. It has been 4 years since the current emperor issued the equality order. Daddy, please don't say anything about parents' orders. Do you still want to go against the emperor's will? Chu Yuanzhan didn't expect that his daughter would use the emperor to pressure him. Am I wrong? Chu Siyan was not afraid. She wanted to fight for her own happiness. Okay. Look at the good daughter you raised. Chu Yuanzhan said to Chu Fengshi. This is also the master's daughter. Chu Fengshi did not show any weakness. Okay, you two mother and daughter are teaming up to deal with me, right? Get out. Get out. Seeing this, Chu Fengshi and Chu Siyan left without looking back. Chu Yuanzhan was very regretful. He regretted that he shouldn't have treated Wang Xuan like that yesterday and tore his face off. This led to the situation today. At this moment, there was a loud bang. The housekeeper came running in a hurry. Master, something big happened. The gate collapsed. Chu Yuanzhan couldn't believe it, and then he came to his senses immediately. Quick! Let the servants block the door. The housekeeper wanted to cry but had no tears. The servants have all run away. Master, let's run too. With so many people rushing in, we don't know what will happen. At this moment, Chu Yuanzhan's regret reached its peak, and he couldn't help but roar to the sky. I hate it. Ding! Successfully suppressed the Chu family, indirectly plundered the luck of the lucky sons Lin An and Chu Siyan, and obtained 10,000 luck points. Zhenbei Palace, Wang Xuan was sitting in the practice room, and suddenly heard a mechanical sound in his mind. It seems that the Chu family is not doing well. Wang Xuan could already imagine what the Chu family was like now. However, he did not care and focused his attention on the present. I have an extra 10,000 points of luck. Let me see what I want to buy. Wang Xuan opened the mall and looked around, but he couldn't find anything satisfactory. The ones he liked basically all cost 100,000 points or more, and 10,000 was just a small amount. Looks like I still have to try my luck. Wang Xuan planned to gamble with an intermediate lottery. As before, Wang Xuan asked the servant to bring pomelo leaves to wash his hands, and then silently said in his heart. Wuji, draw a prize. A virtual disc appeared in front of Wang Xuan, and the pointer on it kept turning. Stop. Chapter 14. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the master-level unique skill, Golden Bell Cover. It's actually one of Shaolin's 72 unique skills. Wang Xuan was delighted. This, Golden Bell Cover, costs 150,000 luck points in the mall. If you practice it to perfection, you can even be invulnerable to swords and guns. It's a pity that it's not the Vajra indestructible divine art. Wang Xuan sighed. Although the Golden Bell Cover is powerful, it is more like a simplified version compared to the Vajra indestructible divine art. When the Vajra indestructible divine art is practiced to a deep level, it is not only invulnerable to swords and guns, but also can make the body indestructible, and is immune to water and fire. It is much better than the Golden Bell Cover, but he was still too greedy. The Vajra indestructible divine art is a heavenly level secret skill, and it costs a full 10 million luck points in the mall. The Golden Bell Cover is also good, at least it should be enough before reaching the Grandmaster level. Wang Xuan took out the Golden Bell Cover and began to practice. After an unknown period of time, his Golden Bell Cover had already been practiced to a minor level. the levels of martial arts practice are divided into subtle, minor, major, and perfect. The golden bell cover at the minor level can already largely resist the slashing of swords and spears. The luck value is consumed too quickly and can't be stopped at all. It's time to go find those 2 experience packs and recharge them. Wang Xuan stood up and walked out. At this time, Wang Si happened to come over. Your Highness, the Chu family has just returned all the betrothal gifts in full. Oh. So straightforward. Wang Xuan thought that the Chu family couldn't hand it over. In this way, he would have another reason to suppress and humiliate the Chu family, and he could also get some luck points. What a pity. However, even if the Chu family could hand it over, it would probably be very painful. How is the Chu family doing now? Wang Xuan asked casually. Jin Si still spoke in an emotionless tone. Yesterday, the gate of the Chu family was broken down by major banks and merchants, and many things inside were directly moved away. The Chu family was so scared that they hid in the cellar until the troops arrived to quell the commotion. Wang Xuan sneered. This was all the Chu family's own fault, and they didn't deserve any sympathy at all. I also heard that the Chu family sold all their properties to repay the money they owed and the betrothal gift from the Zhenbei Palace, but they still fell short. I heard that a mysterious person helped the Chu family save their last house and avoid sleeping on the street. Wang Xuan became interested. Oh. Who is this mysterious person? Jin Si shook his head. Forgive me for my incompetence. I couldn't find any clues. Wang Xuan smiled. Even my Xianlong guards couldn't find any clues, so you can imagine who it is. Jin Si raised his head, his eyes full of solemnity. He guessed who Wang Xuan was talking about. Let's end this matter here. You go down first. Here. At the entrance of the academy, a sedan stopped. The Xianlong guard walked over and lifted the curtain, and a majestic and tall figure walked out of the sedan. Seeing this figure, people passing by looked at him with attention, because he was the protagonist of the gossip in Luodu these days, the Prince of Zhenbei, Wang Xuan. Wang Xuan looked up at the simple but generous entrance of the academy, and felt emotional. This academy is a famous place for studying in the whole Dakian. Not only does it teach literature but also martial arts. 1/3 of the civil and military ministers in the court came from here. It is one of the 2 carriages for studying in Dakian, together with the official school, the Imperial College. But unlike the Imperial College, the students of the academy are almost all children of common people. The Imperial College was mainly established for dignitaries. Children of common people can't afford to study at all, but it doesn't mean that the Imperial College is better than the academy. Every year in the Imperial examination, the academy takes nearly half of the places on the list, while the Imperial College has less than 1/10. However, most people in the Imperial College don't care about the Imperial examination, and many of them are sons and daughters. Logically speaking, Wang Xuan was going to go to the Imperial College, but since Chu Siyan came to the academy, he naturally had to follow. He had not been to the academy for 3 days since the cancellation of the engagement. This time he came to withdraw from school. As the Prince of Zhenbei Palace, if he really wanted to study, he didn't have to go to any academy or Imperial College. He could directly ask the Hanlin scholars to come to his home to teach. If he wanted to learn martial arts, he could even invite the famous masters in the world to teach. Why bother competing with ordinary people for educational resources? It would be better to let the time be at your own disposal. Wouldn't it be wonderful? But at this moment, a familiar figure appeared in front of him. Wang Xuan, you have no conscience. Why do you want to kill all of my Chu family? This is obviously just a matter between Yenner and you. Why are you taking your anger out on my Chu family? Chu Siyan's eyes were red, and she looked like she had been crying. She was very sad these days. She didn't expect Wang Xuan to be so ruthless. Their house was almost emptied, and the shops and land under their name were sold or mortgaged. Even her precious jewelry and clothes were pawned. If it weren't for Chu Yuanzhan's longtime friend, they would even have to sell the mansion they lived in. Now she is much more plain, and this time she is in line with the civilian students in the academy. But Chu Siyan couldn't accept it. Originally, she had always been the most eye-catching person in the academy, but in the past few days in the academy, either no one talked about her, or even if they talked about her, they talked about the scandal of the Chu family being asked for debts by people. How could she bear this kind of gap between heaven and earth? And how could she not hate Wang Xuan, the initiator? The students and passers-by who came and went looked at this. Wang Xuan glanced at Chu Siyan indifferently and sneered. Do you know what you're talking about? That if it wasn't for a slap in the face, he wouldn't bother to pay attention to this so-called heroine. Not only is she brainless, she doesn't even have a political sense. The marriage between her and Wang Xuan is not just a matter between two people, it is the combination and use of two families and two forces. Can you say you don't like it? It's your problem, so just pretend nothing happened. What about the efforts made by the Zhenbei Palace over the years, and the political benefits obtained by the Chu family overtly and covertly? Are you taking advantage of him and doing charity? Why do you, Chu Siyan, think you are so important that I, Wang Xuan, can give up all this? What a joke. If she is really smart, she should stay away instead of standing in front of him and asking why. Wang Xuan couldn't help but complain about what the screenwriter's cerebellum is used for. Can someone with this kind of IQ become the heroine? Only the Zhenbei prince, who has a reduced IQ, would like her. The screenwriter has cursed her. Chu Siyan looked at Wang Xuan's lazy look and was furious. Yener said it very clearly, my Chu family has repaid the betrothal gift, but why did you send people to my Chu family to collect the debt, and even broke down my Chu family's door, making Yener's family lose face? Yener just wants to say that doing this will only make me hate you more. After saying that, Chu Siyan looked at Wang Xuan fiercely, wishing to tear him apart alive. Wang Xuan just felt funny in his heart. Miss Chu, first of all, can you please stop calling me Yener? This prince finds it disgusting. Secondly, those people were not sent by this prince to collect the debt. This prince just announced our engagement as a way to. Besides, they came to collect the debt. What does it have to do with my Zhenbei Palace? The money was borrowed by your Chu family. Finally, there is no relationship between you and me anymore. So, your attitude towards this prince is good or bad. What does this have to do with me? After saying this, Wang Xuan exuded a majestic aura. Chu Siyan was frightened and took 2 steps back. Chapter 15. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After coming to her senses, Chu Siyan realized that she had been intimidated by Wang Xuan's majesty and made a fool of herself in public. Wang Xuan, you are so heartless. Is it because Yener doesn't like you that you want to destroy my Chu family? But Yener tells you, even if you threaten me with such a mean means, I will not like you. I will never marry you. Just give up on this idea. Chu Siyan yelled out all the grievances and resentment she had suffered these days at once. With her tearful look, any talented man who didn't know the truth would feel distressed when seeing her. However, the onlookers understood the reason and naturally disdained it. What can be said about such a person who doesn't know his own identity? Wang Xuan snorted coldly, you think too much. It was fine before. Even if you kneel down and beg me now, I will not marry you. Don't think that I don't know about the dirty deeds between you and that man. A woman who is engaged is having an affair with another man. Do you really think that my Zhenbei Palace is a soft persimmon? Chu Siyan suddenly became anxious. You are talking nonsense. Yener and Mr. Lin are innocent, there is no unclear relationship between them. Oh. Wang Xuan laughed, I didn't even mention Lin An's name, how come you took it for granted? Hearing this, people around him started to talk. No way. Is Miss Chu really having an affair with Lin An? How could this be false? The prince himself didn't mention it, but Miss Chu said it herself. Isn't she hiding something? He is so undisciplined, it shows the status of Chu family's upbringing. Forget about the prince, even if you marry me, I don't want it. Chu Siyan heard every word of the people around her, and her eyes turned red instantly. You are talking nonsense. Yener didn't do that. Lin An is just Yener's confidant. Are you still a man? How dare you care about these things with a woman like Yener? You are not worthy of being the prince of Zhenbei. Chu Siyan cried so hard that I felt sorry for her. Humph. You remember your identity as a woman now? Before, you swore to use the equality order issued by the Empress. Women are not necessarily inferior to men, and women should have the same rights as men. Now you say that I am a man and I have to give in to you, a woman. What is the difference between you and those boxers who fought online in your previous life? You are really an example of wanting both. Humph. If it weren't for the review, Wang Xuan would have tied her up and poured her into a puff. Wang Xuan had nothing to say to this woman with a confused mind. A powerful aura burst out of his body and he sneered. Whether this prince is worthy or not is not for you to judge. If the Dacian law had not been relaxed in recent years, with your current behavior of rebelling against your superiors, even if this prince beat you to death on the spot, no one would say anything. Chu Siyan's choked voice paused for a moment, and her face instantly turned terrified. It felt like Wang Xuan was going to beat her to death on the spot in the next moment. The momentum came quickly and went away quickly. Chu Siyan collapsed to the ground, her expression filled with fear. Humph. Ignorant waste. Wang Xuan turned and left, entering the academy. Chu Siyan couldn't believe it. Was Wang Xuan going to kill her? How dare he? Wasn't he afraid that I would never talk to him again and never pay attention to him again? After Wang Xuan left, the people around him began to point fingers at Chu Siyan. I didn't expect Miss Chu to be so gentle in front of others but so unbearable behind others. My dad is right, don't judge a book by its cover. The prince is the one who is truly wronged. Why is she, a bitch, pretending to be wronged? That it is as ugly as it can be. The grievance and unwillingness in her heart are growing bigger and bigger. At this moment, a harsh voice drilled into her ears. Oh, isn't this the daughter of Chudayusher? Why is she sitting on the ground? Hey, why are you so coquettish? Who is so uncultured as to pee in front of the academy? Chu Siyan was furious. Did he think she didn't understand? This was a mockery of her being scared to pee by Wang Xuan. It was already too much to mock her just now, but he actually dared to do it. These children of common people, it seems that after studying in the academy for a few years, they don't even know their own names. If that I can't control Wang Xuan, can't I control you? Chu Siyan stood up and yelled hysterically. If you have the guts, say it again. I want to see who dares to mock my Chu family in public. Dare to insult my Chu family, I will make you pay the price. Her tone was firm and resolute, and she was determined to vent her resentment at being bullied by Wang Xuan. Some civilian disciples of the academy fled immediately. If they can't afford to provoke me, can they not hide from me? The Chu family has such a bad temper. A mere deputy censor has such great power. The weird voice sounded again. Chu Siyan looked at the person with a grim face. You. When she saw the face clearly, the voice stopped abruptly. Speak up. Why don't you continue? The visitor mocked. I am very curious. What price can your Chu family make me pay? Chu Siyan bit her lips tightly and said nothing. She could only look at her angrily and then fled in a hurry. Did Miss Chu have a kind heart? Of course not. If possible, she wanted to tear the mouth of the woman who mocked her, but she had no choice, because the woman's family background was not something their small Chu family could afford to offend. Seeing Chu Siyan leave, the woman just snorted coldly, then her green eyes looked at Wang Xuan's departing back. Brother Wang Xuan walked straight to the door of Huang Fugue, the warden. He knocked on the door, and a lazy voice came. Who is it? Old Huang, it's my prince. There were sounds of things falling and shouting in pain from inside the room. Your Highness, although your Zhenbei Palace donates 500,000 taels of silver to the academy every year, rules are rules, and I will not compromise. Although he said it righteously, Wang Xuan could still hear the guilt in his tone. He smiled and said, Okay, old Huang, I am not here to ask you to change my grades. As soon as he finished speaking, the door was opened, revealing a chubby face with a suspicious look. Really? Looking at this face that was 90% similar to a famous basketball coach in a cartoon in his previous life, Wang Xuan felt much better. Really, the grades don't need to be changed. Huang Fugue smiled happily. You should have said so earlier. I have been unable to sleep and eat well these days, and I have lost a lot of weight. Wang Xuan looked at his body and couldn't help wondering, what do you mean by losing a lot of weight? Huang Fugue made way for him and extended his hand to invite him. Your Highness, please come in and have a cup of tea. That his office is not big, even a little small, and it is very simple. There is only one table and 2 chairs, the walls are covered with words, and Wang Xuan knows that they are written by Huang Fugue himself, but the most eye-catching are the 6 big words behind his desk. There is a golden house in the book. Wang Xuan sat opposite Huang Fugue. Huang Fugue poured him a cup of tea and asked, "What did His Royal Highness come to see me for?" That he really couldn't think of anything else Wang Xuan came back to see him about, except for the revision of the test results. Wang Xuan picked up the teacup, looked at the coarse tea in the cup, and asked, "Old Huang, your tea is so bad, why don't you think of changing it to something better?" Huang Fugue grinned, revealing a row of rugged yellow teeth. "Your Highness, I was born in a poor family, I am used to drinking this kind of tea, it's not a problem." "No wonder you were known as the tea stall assistant," Wang Xuan joked. The tea sold at the market tea stalls was the most inferior tea, so this was obviously not a compliment. Huang Fugue was not annoyed, but smiled and said, "That's the compliment from the people." For a moment, Wang Xuan was not sure whether he was sincere or just pretending to be relaxed. He took a sip of tea from the teacup, then spit out the tea stems. Huang Fugue was surprised. In his impression, Wang Xuan had never drunk the tea he poured. Something must be wrong when things are abnormal. "Your Highness, please do not come to me for no reason. Just speak frankly. I am so nervous and uncomfortable," Huang Fugue pleaded. Wang Xuan smiled. Seeing such an interesting person like Huang Fugue, he forgot about the business for a moment. "Nothing much, just to withdraw from school." "Good thing, this." Suddenly, Huang Fugue's smile froze, and he reacted. "What? You want to drop out of school?" Chapter 16. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Why? Is it because of the test results? "But Your Highness, it is a taboo in the academy to falsify grades. I really have no way to deal with it." Huang Fugue was aggrieved like a child weighing 200 or 300 pounds. Wang Xuan smiled, "It's none of your business, but this prince has no reason to stay in the academy anymore. The palace has already hired a famous teacher to teach me, so I won't come to compete with commoners for a degree." In fact, there is no famous teacher, but Wang Xuan has no time to come to the academy, so he simply quit. Huang Fugue wanted to say that he didn't take up a degree and was considered an extra staff member, but he didn't say it out loud, for fear that Wang Xuan would kill him if he knew. "Your Highness, although famous teachers are good, coming to the academy is not just about studying, you can also make friends. Otherwise, what's the point of studying alone?" Huang Fugue looked anxious and tried his best to keep him. Wang Xuan admitted that Huang Fugue's words made sense, but the problem was, "Who can make friends with me? Who is willing to make friends with me?" Huang Fugue's face froze. He almost forgot Wang Xuan's identity. How could a commoner dare to approach him and call him a brother? Even if he really wanted to make friends, how could he not have some purpose? "The king is destined to be lonely," Huang Fugue sighed. "It seems that His Highness has made up his mind to leave." Wang Xuan's mouth curled up slightly. "Don't you usually not want to see me? Why are you trying to keep me now? Logically speaking, the academy shouldn't be very welcoming to a rich and powerful person like me." Huang Fugue straightened up and said, "How could that be? Our academy adheres to Confucius' principle of teaching without distinction. No matter if you are a beggar or an emperor, as long as you have talent and want to learn, we will treat you equally." Wang Xuan nodded in agreement. The academy did a good job in this regard, just like Wang Xuan had been using his status to pressure Huang Fugue to change his grades before, but he had never succeeded. Everyone is equal in front of the academy. This is also what Wang Xuan admires. Even the time when the academy recruited female students was earlier than when the Empress came to power and issued the equality order. "That's it. You can help me with the rest. I'm leaving now." Wang Xuan turned around and was about to leave. "Wait." Huang Fugue hurriedly stopped Wang Xuan. "Anything else?" Huang Fugue said shyly. "That's the one." After His Highness dropped out of school, the Zhenbei Palace donated 500,000 taels of silver every year, it still counts, that Wang Xuan suddenly realized, so you are trying to keep me, but you are trying to keep the money, Huang Fugue said seriously, of course not, the academy treats every student equally. If you want to drop out, you must be retained. This is the process. But, Your Highness, you also know that most of the students enrolled in the academy are children of common people. The tuition fees are reduced every year, and the food and accommodation are also very cheap. The small amount of money allocated by the Ministry of Rights every year is not enough. Can you see if it is possible? At the end, Huang Fugue showed an embarrassed expression. Wang Xuan didn't believe that this old fox would be embarrassed, he was just pretending. However, 500,000 taels was nothing to the palace, and it was a good deal to gain the friendship of the academy. Even if he couldn't win the academy over to his side in the end, at least he could make them not target him and not side with the protagonist. How about this? My Zhenbei Palace will donate 500,000 taels every year as usual, and this prince will donate another 100,000 taels to the academy every year. Huang Fugue was overjoyed. He didn't expect Wang Xuan to be so generous. He stood up and walked to Wang Xuan and bowed. Dean, what are you doing? Wang Xuan quickly helped him up. Huang Fugue said seriously, I thought your highness was an unlearned person before, but I didn't expect that your highness has great righteousness in his heart and is willing to donate generously to Daqian's education cause. I am judging others by my own standards. This bow is my apology to your highness. Then he bowed again. Master, you have already bowed, why are you bowing again? Wang Xuan helped him up again. This bow is for the students of the academy, to express gratitude to His Majesty. Seeing Huang Fugue wanted to bow again, Wang Xuan quickly supported him. Old Huang, it will be unlucky if we continue to bow, why don't we just get married in the hall? Huang Fugue grinned, showing his dazzling yellow teeth again. Your Highness, you are joking. Even if I dare to marry, the king of Zhenbei will not dare to marry me, right? Wang Xuan came back to his senses. Huang Fugue, you are taking advantage of me, right? Why am I 0 and you are 1? Huang Fugue looked confused. Your Highness, your words are a bit profound. I really don't understand. What is 0? What is 1? Wang Xuan touched his nose embarrassedly. Why are you talking about this? If you continue, it will become the non-tung divine religion, and it's with Huang Fugue. Ugh. 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 It's nothing, don't mind it, I'm just talking nonsense. Huang Fugue looked strange, but he didn't investigate further. It's normal for a rich family to have some quirks. Compared to some people he had met, Wang Xuan was already a normal person. The only abnormal thing was that he was so infatuated with the little girl from the Chu family. One more question, what is the academy going to use the 600,000 taels for? Wang Xuan raised a key question. Donating money is not the same as just donating it. It is very important to supervise the use of it. Otherwise, it will be as disgusting as a certain Red Cross in the previous life. He didn't want the money he donated to be embezzled by some people. Your Highness, you can rest assured. I will personally supervise the use of the donated money. In addition to repairing the academy, paying the professors' tuition and subsidizing the meals of teachers and students, the remaining money will be used as tuition money to reward outstanding and poor students. Tuition money is the scholarship of the academy. Hearing this, Wang Xuan suddenly remembered something. In the plot of Jianghu, it seems that Lin An met a noble man during the distribution of tuition fees for a certain academy. In this way, the opportunity of this son of luck was brought about by himself. He is really a sucker. It is pure ungrateful, but now that he knows it, he will naturally not let this happen again. Old Huang, I have no problem with the usage of the money, but there is one thing, the tuition money cannot be given to Lin An. This. Huang Fugue was a little embarrassed. Logically speaking, the money belonged to Wang Xuan. If he didn't pay the tuition fee because of his personal grudge with Lin An, wouldn't that violate the principles of the academy? But if he didn't agree, it seemed that Wang Xuan might take the money back. I'm sorry, Your Highness, I can't do this. Huang Fugue still refused. It's good to have money, but he won't die if he doesn't have money. At most, it will make the teachers and students suffer. Wang Xuan was not angry. Old Huang, don't refuse yet. This prince wants to tell you something. Do you know about the break-off of the engagement between this prince and the Chu family? Huang Fugue nodded. Although he had been in the academy for a long time, this matter was spread everywhere in Luodu a few days ago, so he naturally heard about it. What does this have to do with Lin An? Guess what the real reason is for canceling the engagement? Wang Xuan asked. Huang Fugue's face darkened, and he understood what Wang Xuan meant. He recalled some past events, when Chu Siyan always stayed with Lin An after class. Nowadays, etiquette is not strict, and the academy is even more open-minded, so he didn't think much about it, thinking it was just a normal discussion between students. Now that Wang Xuan said this, it means that Lin An and Chu Siyan may really have something going on. Chu Siyan is already engaged to Wang Xuan, even if etiquette is not strict. You can't do this. Isn't this morally corrupt? With such bad behavior, whether he is qualified to receive the tuition fee of the academy, I believe the dean knows it well. Huang Fugue said in a deep voice, don't worry, Your Highness, if Lin An really does something improper, the academy will never tolerate it. Ding. Influence the academy director Huang Fugue's impression of Lin An, destroy his chance, and gain 8,000 points of luck. Wang Xuan was satisfied. Chapter 17. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At the same time, in Lanshan Black Wind Village, Pingan County, this once famous mountain village is now littered with corpses. A bearded man covered in scars kneeled on the ground. Lin An stood in front of him holding a sword and said coldly, "Do you have anything else to say?" The bearded man did not beg for mercy, but stared at Lin An. "Why do you want to destroy my Black Wind Village? You are a bandit, and everyone can kill you." The bearded man was confused, "But I think that I have never done anything bad in all these years." "You are a bandit, that's enough." Lin An was too lazy to listen to the bearded man's explanation. The sword flashed, a big head flew up directly. Lin An shook off the blood stains on the sword and sheathed it. Suddenly his body softened and he couldn't stand steadily. He always felt that he had lost something. "Why is your body suddenly so weak?" Lin An was shocked. After checking, he still couldn't find any problem. "Maybe I have killed too many people recently and I am a little exhausted. I will take a few days off." Lin An did not think about it any further. A month later, in Luodu, it was early spring, and everything was reviving. The weather was still very cold. In the early morning, in every inn and house in Luodu, there were sounds of reading or shouting. Tomorrow is the imperial examination, and all of them are candidates going to Beijing to take the exam. Wang Xuan also got up and was in the martial arts field of the palace. He held a huge stone lock in each hand, dancing with great vigor as if nothing was there. He was only wearing a loose thin shirt, and the heat was steaming up a cloud of mist above his head. The guards on the side all showed respectful eyes. Uncle Fu came over with tea and snacks. "Master, take a break. Have some cakes and tea." "Good." Wang Xuan threw the stone lock in his hand to the ground, and it embedded perfectly into a pit more than 10 inches deep, and this pit was made by Wang Xuan with the stone lock in this month. Wang Xuan took the silk handkerchief handed over by the maid and wiped the sweat off his face. The maid looked at the bulging outline on his body and her face blushed slightly. Wang Xuan teased, "Is it big?" "Big, Your Highness, please stop teasing me." The maid was a little embarrassed and angry for a moment. "Ha ha ha." Wang Xuan pinched the maid's face. His hand felt smooth and tender, so tender that it could squeeze out water, and he couldn't let it go. "If Your Highness is all right, I will take my leave now." The maid bowed and left with a blushing face. If the young master likes Hong Yuan, he can take her into his room as a concubine. Uncle Fu said with a smile. Wang Xuan said righteously, "Uncle Fu, what you said is wrong. Now the royal palace is in crisis. How can I have time to consider the love affairs of my children?" Uncle Fu nodded in agreement, tears flashing in his eyes. "Miss, did you see it? The young master has grown up." Wang Xuan sighed in his heart. "Do you think I don't want to? I can't. Before the pure Yang Wuji Gong is perfected, it is impossible for him to break the skill. Thinking of this, Wang Xuan vented his depression on the cakes and tea in front of him. While eating, he asked, "What did the Ministry of War say? Did they agree?" Uncle Fu shook his head. "They still disagree, saying that the young master is the prince of the royal palace and cannot compete with the people for profit." Wang Xuan frowned. "Are those old guys so unreasonable? I just want a reference quota, even if I don't become an official in the end, it doesn't matter." Uncle Fu advised, "Young master, you are a golden branch and jade leaf, why do you have to participate in the martial arts test with those people?" Wang Xuan was even more depressed. He originally thought that he could suppress Lin An in the martial arts test, but he didn't expect that he had no qualification to participate. The reason was very simple. If hereditary nobles participated in the imperial examination, it would squeeze out the upward channel of common people. The current dynasty still understands the principle of running water does not rot, and door hinges do not rot. Therefore, the imperial examinations defaulted to the fact that nobles were not qualified to participate, and the nobles also had their own reservations and would not join in the fun. If Wang Xuan had not wanted to suppress Lin An and plunder his luck, he would not have participated in any martial arts test. Isn't it better to take shortcuts? It's okay. If you don't want to participate, then don't participate. I can go and watch when the martial arts test comes, then I'll see if I can find a chance to suppress Lin An and destroy his chance. This month, Wang Xuan used his luck points to speed up his training, and also exchanged for a Jin Dan from the mall. He knew that biting off more than he could chew, a bird in the hand is better than 100 birds in the forest. He practiced the golden bell cover to perfection. It was definitely more than enough to deal with Lin An. The only drawback was that he couldn't get to the last step of perfection, and it always felt like something was missing. After all, if the golden bell cover was perfect, it should be able to condense the flower of essence, but Wang Xuan didn't dwell on it for too long. With the system, perfection was a matter of time. The next morning, the imperial examination held every 3 years in Daqian officially began. The first was the 3-day literary examination. Most people in the imperial examination took the literary examination. It was not that the martial examination was not valued. Daqian was founded on martial arts, and there has always been a tradition of emphasizing martial arts over literature. In addition, this is a world of high martial arts, and personal martial arts can, to a certain extent, turn the tide, so of course it is extremely important, but it can be said that poor literature and rich martial arts, the cost of learning martial arts is not something that ordinary people can afford. Apprenticeship, meat, elixir, weapons, which one does not cost money, so people whose families are not well off can only learn literature to seek a way out. This kind of people account for the majority. Only those who can afford the expenses, or those who are gifted and willing to pay for them will take the martial examination. The martial examination started one day after the literary examination. The martial examination lasted for a total of 10 days. The first 9 days were about military tactics, horse riding, archery, and weightlifting. Wang Xuan did not go. It was not until the end that the last 200 people were selected to compete in the ring. The last day of the martial examination, the training ground outside Xuanwu Gate in the east of Luodu City. Early in the morning, the entrance was crowded with people. They were all Luodu people who came to join in the fun. The martial arts competition was open to the public. They had basically no entertainment on weekdays, so the martial arts competition that took place once every 3 years was naturally not to be missed. Wang Xuan arrived late, and when he brought Uncle Fu to the scene, he was also shocked to see a dark mass in front of him. There were even various vendors in the corners. "Master, there are too many people here, let's go in first," Uncle Fu said. "No hurry." Wang Xuan seemed to suddenly remember something, and his eyes searched the crowd, and then his eyes lit up. Then he moved his feet slightly, and the crowd blocking him was separated like a stream of water. Wang Xuan walked along the separated stream of people leisurely. "Oops. Who pushed me? Step on my foot. Lecture. Watch out." After a brief commotion, the separated crowds gathered again. Fu Bo's pupils shrank, and he muttered to himself, "The young master's martial arts are becoming more and more incomprehensible." At this time, Wang Xuan, the instigator of the riot, came to a small stall. There were all kinds of names written on it, as well as the corresponding odds. Come, place your bets. Who will win the first place in the martial arts test? Don't miss it if you pass by. Sir, how about betting some money and playing a few hands? Asked a buck-toothed man in front of the stall. Wang Xuan smiled and said, Great. I'll buy him for 200,000 taels. He pointed at Lin An's name, which said 20 to 1, the buck-toothed man was stunned, then asked suspiciously, 200,000 taels, are you sure? Wang Xuan nodded and took out the banknote on his body. The buck-toothed man took the banknote and looked at it. It was real. He was immediately ecstatic. He was afraid that Wang Xuan would regret it, so he quickly wrote him a bet ticket. Wang Xuan took the ticket and turned around and left. People around him talked about it. Is this young man crazy? He actually bet 200,000 on a person who was predicted to be ranked 50th to win the championship. Lin An's ranking in various basic tests was not very high, and he had no chance of winning the championship. In the past years of Daqian's martial arts test, the first place was basically won by the people who were predicted to be ranked in the top 10, and there has never been an exception. Whose son is this? So much money wasted without blinking an eye. I want to do business with him too. Me too. Bucktooth Su is going to make a fortune this time. This is 200,000 taels. Wang Xuan heard it of course, but just sneered. Uncle Fu was also puzzled. Master, you and Lin An are not. He really didn't understand this operation. How could he buy the enemy to win? Wang Xuan was not aimless. Behind this was a great opportunity for the protagonist Lin An. Chapter 18. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the later part of the main plot of The Great River and Lake, Lin An established Qufenglu, a killer organization that the whole world feared. The person who initially provided him with financial support was someone he met during this bet. In addition to wanting to fleece Lin An, Wang Xuan also wanted to ruin his chances by betting this time. Not long after Wang Xuan left, Chu Siyan came to the gambling stand. She took a look at Lin An's odds, frowned, and asked. What's going on? Wasn't Lin An's odds 1 to 20 just now? Why is it only 1 to 4 now? Bucktooth Su was surprised and asked, Girl. Are you going to bet on this too? Lin An. Chu Siyan narrowed her eyes and asked, What do you mean by also? Just now, a young man from a rich family came over and bet 200,000 taels on this Lin An, that the odds of the gambling table are variable. Wang Xuan bet 200,000 taels, which lowered the odds of Lin An. 200,000 taels. Chu Siyan opened her mouth slightly, unable to hide her shock, then she frowned slightly. Is there anyone else besides our Chu family who knows Lin Lang's background? Otherwise, why would he dare to bet 200,000 taels on Lin An? Chu Siyan shook her head. The only people who knew Lin An's background were her father and Lin An himself. It was impossible for these three to leak the news. Maybe it was a noble son who was on good terms with Lin Lang who bet on it. I'll ask him later. That's not a problem. The biggest problem is that the odds have become lower, which is very uncomfortable. The Chu family is not the same as before. They have managed to collect 50,000 taels. If it was 1 to 20, Lin An would get 1 million taels if he won, which would definitely make the Chu family rich. Now it's only 1 to 4, so if he wins, he can only get 200,000 taels, which is a full 5 times difference. The gap is too big, but Chu Siyan still placed the bet. No matter how small a mosquito is, it's still meat. 200,000 taels is not a small amount for the current Chu family. Chu Siyan left after buying. Lin An's odds went straight to 1 to 3, rushing into the top 10 of the odds list, and he was the only one who was not in the top 10 of the prediction list. Many people were very surprised when they saw it. Who is this person? He is only ranked 50th in the prediction, so how come he is in the top 10 in the odds list? A few incense sticks ago, a young man bought 200,000 taels, and just now a young lady bought 50,000 taels. Do you think these nobles have some inside information? Hearing what you said, it is really possible. Maybe a noble has bribed the referee and is planning to cheat. If so, I'll buy some. I buy some too. I also want. In an instant, the inside news spread from one person to another. and many people rushed in to bet on Lin An to win the championship. Bucktooth Su naturally accepted everyone who came, and smiled from ear to ear, but he sneered in his heart. Did he not know whether there was an inside story or not? The identity of the master behind him was not ordinary. If there was something wrong with Lin An, he would have told them long ago, and the odds would not have been set so high at the beginning. The imperial examination and martial arts test are the foundation of Dakian's talent selection. Cheating is strictly prohibited, and the consequences are very serious, and those who have the power to cheat will not cheat. They have their own channels to benefit their close ones. Cheating is the lowest means, and the stupidest means. Therefore, Bucktooth Su cannot believe a word of the so-called insider information. Buy it, and you will cry when the time comes. These gamblers are not pitiful at all. Inside the training ground, the stands around were full of people. On the sandy ground below the stands, there were 16 arenas, 4x4 in total. At the front was the martial arts arena. Below the martial arts arena stood 200 people of different appearances. They were the martial arts candidates who fought out from the 50,000 people who participated in the martial arts test. Naturally, everyone's strength was beyond doubt. It can be said that they were all the pillars of Dakian. 1/3 of them were strong men in the innate realm. Due to special reasons, the martial arts test was not like the literary test. Even if you were 50 or 60 years old, you could take the test. The age limit for the martial arts test was under 30 years old. To be innate under 30 years old meant that you could become a master before the age of 50 when your blood and chi were exhausted. This kind of master seedling was rare in some sections. In their respective provincial examinations, they were also among the best, but in the last round of the Dakian Imperial Martial Arts test, it was just an upper-middle level. For more than 100 years, Dakian has been able to dominate the 4 directions and make all the barbarians submit. Relying on this endless stream of talents, it is conceivable that the last round of the martial arts test was difficult, not to mention winning the championship. Even those who made it into the top 10 were all monsters among monsters. On the martial arts stage, the Minister of War Lu Chu stood in the middle and read the imperial edict. The Emperor, by the mandate of heaven, proclaims that I rule the country with culture and suppress rebellion with force. You are the pillars of the imperial court and the pillars of the country. The words are difficult to understand, so I won't write them all out. The general meaning is, Emperor, I want to show my skills, and I just need talents, and you are all the pillars of my Dakian, which is exactly what I need. It's been hard for so many days of competition. It's not easy to get here. There will be rewards afterwards. I hope everyone will give their best and show us the appearance of a good man of my Dakian. In the future, you will definitely be crowned as a wolf in the Sioux, glorify your ancestors, etc. In general, it's just a big cake and chicken blood. It's similar to the way the capitalists used to do. There are a lot of empty words and clichés. Wang Xuan almost fell asleep while listening. But the eyes of the 200 people in the audience were shining. Wang Xuan could understand their excitement. After all, they were taught the traditional idea of learning literary and martial arts, and serving the emperor since they were young. Being able to serve the emperor and the court is their lifelong wish. It's difficult for Wang Xuan to judge the good and bad, to live a muddle-headed life without worries, or to struggle a lifetime in sobriety and pain. For many people, it's a problem. Wang Xuan didn't have the heart to think about these things. He is sober and happy now, and there is no problem at all. At most, he was worried about when he could complete the pure Yang Wuji Gong. He sat in the VIP seat next to the martial arts stage, holding his chin and looking down boredly. Finally, he saw the person he wanted to see at the end of the crowd, Lin An. How could such a big change happen in just 1 month? Lin An stood at the back, eyes closed, quiet and silent as if nothing happened. If you didn't look carefully, you would subconsciously ignore him. When Wang Xuan focused on looking at Lin An, he felt a sharp pain in his eyes. The sword intent is perfected. Wang Xuan's heart trembled. A month ago, Lin An had just touched the threshold of sword intent, not even the subtle one, but now he has mastered the sword intent. And Wang Xuan used the divine flower to sense it. Lin An must have entered the innate state, at least condensed a flower. This speed of improvement is simply cheating. The son of luck. Humph. You are so noble. You are amazing. After being surprised, a chill rushed to the back of Wang Xuan's head. This strength improvement, fortunately, he suppressed him many times and cut off his opportunity. Otherwise, the grass on the grave is now 3 feet high, and he can just go to the feast directly. It seems that we need to speed up, plunder Lin An's luck as soon as possible, and kill him, so as to avoid more trouble. While Wang Xuan was thinking about how to deal with Lin An, Lu Chu finished reading the imperial edict. However, he did not return to his seat directly, but retreated behind the curtain and bowed. "Prime Minister Qing, would you like to come out and say a few words?" A graceful figure could be vaguely seen behind the curtain, and a crisp but majestic voice came out. "I will not go out now, Sir Lu, please do as you please." After receiving the definite answer, Lu Chu no longer hesitated and turned to signal the soldiers beside him. The sound of the gong rang out. The last round of the imperial examination, the martial arts competition. Officially begin. Chapter 19. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Everyone saw Lu Chu bowing and asking for instructions. The nobles sitting at the same table with Wang Xuan started to talk among themselves. Who is behind the curtain? How could he be so famous? Even Lord Lu had to show respect to him. Could it be that His Majesty has arrived at the scene? How is that possible? This is just an examination. The Emperor will not come. Don't guess, I just asked the old man, it's Chu Siyan who came. No wonder. Hearing the term Chu Siyan, everyone was no longer surprised, but felt it was natural. Wang Xuan was also stunned. Why is she here too? That the person called Chu Siyan was the Empress's close secretary, the inner servant Muron Wanqing, who was deeply trusted by the Empress. It is said that the third-rank official is in front of the Prime Minister, not to mention that she follows the current Emperor, the person with the greatest power in Daqian. He is just a fifth-rank close official, but he is responsible for handling the memorials of hundreds of departments, participating in government affairs, and even mastering military strategies and the power of life and death. He is the right-hand man of the Empress, and his power is even greater than that of the Prime Minister, so everyone calls him Chu Siyan. Wang Xuan was surprised at first about Muron Wanqing's arrival, because although the joint examination is important, it is not worth it for a big figure like her to come in person. After all, there is still a palace examination later, so we can see then, unless she has someone she wants to see. Wang Xuan reacted and sneered. Are you here to see Lin An? Interesting. In the plot of the Jianghu, Lin An shined in both the civil and military examinations and won the first place. He was also deeply loved by the Empress in the palace examination and was selected as the top scholar. Later, he worshipped Muron Wanqing as his teacher, and soared to the sky. Wang Xuan always thought that Lin An became a teacher after the imperial examination, but now it seems that he should have known Muron Wanqing a long time ago. This also answered a doubt in his previous life. Since the Empress ascended the throne, several imperial examinations have been held, and there are one or two talents like Lin An. But why didn't he get super-standard reuse like Lin An before? Is it just because he is a little handsome? Now it seems that people who can become emperors are not so superficial. Instead, Lin An had someone in the court at the beginning, and this person was Muron Wanqing. With the Empress's trust in Muron Wanqing, she would naturally care about the people she recommended. If he can be remembered by the Emperor of Daqian, then Lin An's road will be widened. Wang Xuan frowned slightly. He was not interested in the relationship between Muron Wanqing and Lin An. However, Muron Wanqing's appearance here might affect his plan to slap his face. Humph. If she dares to interfere, I will deal with her as well. What's the matter with the Prime Minister or not? Not to mention that Daqian doesn't have a Prime Minister now, but only a cabinet. Even if there is one, it dare not do anything to his Zhenbei Palace. What's more, Muron Wanqing is not a real Prime Minister, so why should I be afraid of her? Thinking of this, Wang Xuan no longer had any interest in her, and looked lazily at the arena below. It had been a while since then, and most of the 16 arenas were filled with people fighting in pairs, while those who were not fighting were standing below the stage and watching carefully. The first stage of the arena competition was to defend the arena. There were a total of 16 arenas, and whoever stood on it before noon would be the final winner. For example, even if someone won many games at the beginning, as long as he was defeated in the last game, it would be fine. Is to lose. This method is not absolutely fair, and it is even dramatic. the last 16 people are not necessarily the strongest 16, this will test the wisdom of each martial artist. Wang Xuan also admires this examination mechanism set up by the court. Although the martial arts test is a test of martial arts, Dakian does not select brainless warriors with well-developed limbs, but soldiers who need to be in charge of military strategies. This is the foundation of Dakian's strength. This defense system is a good way to screen out those brainless people. As the protagonist, Lin An is naturally not a brainless person. He did not stand on the stage to defend the ring at the beginning, but stood under the stage to conserve his strength. He also squinted at the people on the stage, as if calculating the weaknesses of his opponent. A son of luck is so cowardly. Do you want to let others have fun? Wang Xuan couldn't help complaining. He hoped that Lin An would rush to the stage to defend the ring right from the start. With his obscurity, many people would definitely challenge him, and it would be best if he could be defeated in a round-robin battle. However, Wang Xuan knew that this was unrealistic. It was very likely that even if he defended the ring, he would be able to do so, and he might even break through under pressure. After all, the son of luck is so unreasonable. After watching for a while, seeing that Lin An did not move, Wang Xuan looked away, as if he had seen something, and his pupils shrank. On the middle stage, a man in a green tights, sitting cross-legged on the ground with his eyes closed. A rotten silver spear was across his knees. There was no one watching on the stage where he was, and no one went up to challenge him. Wang Xuan stared at the face of the man in the tights, but felt a little familiar, but could not remember who he was. At this time, someone nearby was also talking about this person. Look, who is that person over there? Who? He is the only man sitting on the ground, unchallenged. You don't know him? Don't keep me in suspense, tell me now. That person is the person recognized as the best predictor of this martial arts test, Yang Linjing. It's him. He's so handsome in real life. Not as scary as the rumors say. Don't be a fangirl. He is the son of the mighty general. He doesn't like you. I see, I'm just saying it, but why doesn't anyone challenge him? Is it because of his identity? Identity is secondary, the main reason is that Yang Linjing is very strong. Tell me, how strong is it? Do you know why our martial arts test has an age limit of under 30? I know this. Only those who are in the Xiantian stage before the age of 30 can become a grandmaster. Do you know how old Yang Linjing was when he entered the Xiantian realm? That everyone shook their heads. 18 years old, that a gasp sounded. He achieved the Xiantian realm at the age of 18, which is rare in the entire Dakian. Without exception, the worst ones all became top-notch talent. This is something that no one can even dream of. Yang Linjing is now 28 years old. 3 years ago, he was at the second flower innate realm. If he had not gathered the third flower to become a perfect master, he would have been a master long ago. Everyone was amazed. Yang Linjing, the son of General Shenwei. Wang Xuan remembered that he had met Yang Linjing when he was a child, but he was still young at that time, and his memory was not clear. He only remembered his gloomy face all day long. Wang Xuan was not familiar with Yang Linjing. Instead, he played more with his sister. He never saw him again afterwards, so he only felt familiar at first sight, but did not recognize him. Unexpectedly, 10 years later, he actually saw him in the martial arts test. It's strange, why would the son of General Shenwei take part in the military test? General Shenwei is the best military commander of the dynasty, a first-rank official, and was conferred the title of Duke of Song. His son definitely doesn't need to take part in this military test. If he can take part, why can't I? Wang Xuan was a little annoyed. After the military test, he must interrogate the Ministry of War severely. Time passed little by little. Wang Xuan stared at Lin An from time to time, but he was as steady as an old dog and just didn't go on stage. He simply closed his eyes and rested, and Uncle Fu even thoughtfully prepared a silk eye mask for him. I don't know how long it took. Is Li Dazhuang going to lose? How is this possible? He was predicted to be ranked 10th, and I bet 5,000 taels of silver on him to enter the second round. Who is his opponent? Not only is he handsome, but he also has beautiful sword skills. I like him so much. Let me take a look. It seems to be called, Lin An.